Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? This is actually take two. All of a sudden, things just went choo. I guess somebody didn't like what I was talking about at that particular moment. I'm not too sure, but yeah, in the process, hopefully, I was able to clear some stuff out too at the same time. So I definitely freed up some storage space. It's like, where did all these apps come from that I never use? It's like, okay. Anyway, so, all right. What I was trying to talk about today was the series I started a couple of weeks ago before all this respiratory mess kicked in and everything. It was basically sorry, I had a notification pop up in case you all were wondering, why is she doing this weird thing? And I don't know if it'll show up or not. But anyway, that's what it was. So, anyway, yeah, I wanted to talk to you all today about the series I tried starting a couple weeks ago. So you want to be a rideshare driver, and I did a little introductory video at that time, and did a little bit, touched a little bit on some of the ins and outs of it, and that's basically what I really wanted to talk to you all about today. Okay. So anyway, before we really get into a lot of this stuff and so forth, what I want you all to do, okay, is I want you to go out to your car. All right, whatever vehicle it is that you're thinking about using for your ride sharing business. If you don't have one, see if maybe you can just borrow somebody else's, and you're not actually going to take it anywhere or anything, but just ask them if you can do this little experiment. Okay. And basically what I want you to do, I want you to go out there, sit in the driver's seat, close the door, open the windows. Please, we don't want any heat stroke or anything. Okay. You don't have to necessarily start it. Okay. But what I want you to do is I want you to just sit there. Okay. And I want you to really take a look around at your environment. All right. I want you to take a look at the seat that's next to you. Take a look at the seats that are behind you. Look in the rear view mirror and everything. And the reason why I want you to do this is because whether you're going to be doing this part-time or full-time, this is going to be your new office. Okay. And what I really want you to pay really close attention to, if you haven't really noticed it already, is the proximity you are to the seats around you, the seat in front, beside you, the seats behind you, so on and so forth. Okay. And how much visibility that you really do have with these seats. Okay. I realize that you probably have, been in a car with other people before and so forth, driven around with other people and everything. But, that was more of a casual environment. This is going to be something where you're doing things professionally and you're going to be picking up people you've never met before in your life. These are total strangers that you are picking up. Okay. Good percentage of them are wonderful people. No problem. A lot of them, they don't want to talk or anything. They do it all the time, because they don't have a car for whatever reason or whatever, and they just, okay, and you got to kind of be in tune with those social cues without actually being able to pay attention to any sort of body language, because especially if they're sitting in the back seat, you're not going to be able to see them. Sorry, I keep getting this notification. It keeps popping up. I don't know why. So anyway, yeah, this is what I really want you to be paying attention to. Some people, a lot of them are people who are just trying to get from point A to point B. Some of them may have groceries, which it would be very nice if you could get out of your car and actually help or something. I would highly recommend it, especially if you have things that you keep regularly in your trunk. Make sure it doesn't disappear or something. Okay, you can just kind of pretend like, oh, I'm holding the thing up for you. Make sure it doesn't come slamming down or what have you. Be a little coy about things. Okay, use this. That's going to be your big thing, is learning how to grow your brain a little bit. Okay. Also, growing a thick skin, because not everybody is going to be a wonderful person. You're going to get the Karens in your car. Okay. You're going to have to be able to deal with those situations. You're not going to be in, say, a restaurant or basically a restaurant or a retail sort of situation where you could possibly have backup, a manager or something, even if you are a manager, or what have you. These are people who are going to be inside your own personal car. Okay. And there's going to be some cases where they are going to be so angry or whatever, they're not going to want to get out even. I've had that happen. And you got to use your brain and how to maneuver these people out of your car. Okay. I had it happen just here recently, like a couple months ago, where I picked up some real icky people. They had attitude from the get go, and I was just like, no, get out of my car. And they weren't gonna. They refused to leave, and I was just like, look, you have one of two choices. Okay, I'm not taking you to your destination. You can either get out of my car now, or I can take you right up the road to where the police station is, and let them deal with you. Obviously, they decided to go with option one. Okay. And of course, I was going to make them pay for that ride too, on top of it. It's like, look, it's one, those are your choices. Okay. So yeah, you can wind up in those sorts of situations. Okay. And unfortunately, yes, this was a bad neighborhood. It's something else that you have to consider as well. Not all of them are bad people. Some of them are just, in bad situations or what have you. But for the most part, a lot of them, they're very, very nice people and everything. They just want to do what it is what they want to do, and that's it. At the same token, you can pick up people in very nice neighborhoods, and they're the ickiest people you'd ever want to ever meet in your life. Yeah, I've been there. So, and very entitled, so on and so forth. You're also going to be, yeah, like I said, you want to be thinking about the fact that, you are in a customer service industry. It isn't a matter of you going out and picking people up, dropping them off, and basically they're providing the service to you by paying you to provide that service. Yes, that's what the case is, but you got to switch your thinking and realize that you are the customer service representative. Okay? Because even if you do everything right, some people, you just can't please them no matter what. And there are a lot of scam artists out there also who will try and give you bad ratings or what have you, and try and scam the apps. And the apps will come back, or customer service will come back and charge you for it. Okay, so you got to think your way through that as well. I've had that happen. Okay. So yeah, there are going to be those situations that you are going to be winding yourself up into. A thing that you have to keep in mind is that basically you are the source of their entertainment. Okay. And you can be, if you get somebody in your car who just, yeah, they're just one of those people or whatever. Yeah, you're going to be the source of their entertainment. Probably one of my biggest pet peeves is getting people in. Usually it's somebody who's intoxicated. I still wear a mask, okay, because of my health issues and everything. And they just start getting belligerent right off the bat the minute they see that I'm wearing a mask. And I sometimes I'll ask them, hey, if me wearing a mask is bothering you, you can get out now if you like. Or I'll just, they ask, start in with me. I just explain to them, I wear a mask to protect myself. And I did have somebody who tried coming back and be like, oh, don't I deserve protection? And it's like, well, you can wear a mask. But and I also realize with doing this video, I'm going to be talking to people who are anti-maskers also. But the way I look at it is, with everything that I've been through over the last year and a half, yeah, I would much rather wear a mask. And the time that both times that I had gotten sick was because I wasn't wearing a mask. Okay, so that's the way I look at it. So yeah, I will continue to wear a mask. I don't care, no matter what. All right, anytime I'm out in public, I will continue to wear a mask. So those are the sorts of things that you also have to take into consideration. Also, vehicles. Okay, if you're going to be using your own vehicle, there's going to be the wear and tear. You're going to also be constantly, one thing I highly recommend that you do when you start off on your shift, whether you're doing deliveries or rideshare, start off with a full tank of gas. With that in mind, you're going to be constantly shopping around for gas. Okay, any sort of preconceived conceptions, not misconceptions, but conceptions about, oh, I should be using this particular kind of gas or what have, unless your car requires it. Because I know there's a lot of vehicles out there, especially European vehicles, that require premium gas. Obviously, you're going to have to stick with that. But what I'm talking about is you're going to be basically constantly shopping around for the cheapest gas that you can possibly get. But those preconceived notions of, oh, I should only use gas from this particular gas station because that's premium quality, this and that, and so on and so forth. Trust me, those costs are going to add up, and it's going to go right out the window. It's because it's going to be eating right into your budget, especially with the high cost of gas, how much it's been going up and everything. Rewards programs. Any gas stations that offer rewards programs, like you can punch in your phone number right there at the pump and you get a certain discount off of your gas, definitely sign up for those. Okay. A lot of your cheaper gas stations will do that. Like around here, I know like Circle K. I know Circle K is nationwide. Arco is West Coast. So yeah, I know they just recently started with a rewards program. So also your local grocery stores, any sort of like grocery store chains like Kroger's, any Kroger branded store. Okay. Not necessarily Kroger, but any of the, like their affiliates or what have you. Ones like those, you can do Costco, Sam's Club, but a lot of times those bulk stores aren't always necessarily offering the cheapest price in gas. So definitely got to shop around. Okay. And take advantage of any sort of savings that you can, because it's going to be I would have to say that's going to be your biggest cost with keeping your car going. It's going to be gas. Okay, especially if you have a gas guzzler. Like if you're planning on putting your minivan into service to do those XL rides and so forth. Yeah, those are going to be eating into your profits quite a bit. Okay. So, and of course, there's going to be the maintenance. There's going to be the little things that are going to be going out, like your light bulbs. Oh my gosh, those can be so annoying. There's going to be those. There's going to be your oil changes all the time. Also filling up all of your topping off your fluids and so on and so. Normal, typical things and everything. So you got to budget yourself for all of those costs all the time. Windshield wipers, another thing too. That's always a big issue, especially out here in the desert. You go through windshield wipers like you wouldn't believe, because the heat and especially the sun, it just cracks them. It isn't so much that we're using them. It's because they get nasty and cracked and everything. And then when it actually does rain, they don't work. So yeah, though that's definitely going to be a huge issue. All those sorts of costs. If you decide to go through the leasing programs that are offered through the apps, okay, then that's going to be a big cost. And especially, I know, like with Uber, they're really pushing those electric vehicles and everything. Weigh the costs. Okay, because it may not be as cost effective as what they're trying to hype it up to be. I have found that out. Okay. let's see here. I mean, you can go that route if you are going to lease a vehicle, like through a dealership on your own. Then it's going to be treated like it's your own personal car. Okay, and there's certain criteria when if you decide to lease a vehicle directly through the app. Through one of the app services, then it's already pre-approved, and you don't have to worry about getting a vehicle inspection. I know most states, I believe all the states now, have a vehicle safety inspection requirement that's due every single year. Okay, and that's a little trick I should tell you all about too while I'm thinking about it. When your vehicle inspection is coming up due, wait until that day, because otherwise, if you get it done earlier, you're going to lose that time, because it's going to go according to the date that the safety inspection happened, not the actual due date. So something to keep in mind with all of that. Okay, and that's something you're going to have to also take care of every single year. They actually raised the price of the safety inspection. It's now $25. You can go to any mechanic. You can either go to the Uber or a Lyft place and get it taken care of, or you can go to a mechanic that's ASE certified. They have to be ASE certified because they have to be able to put their credentials down on the form, and then you upload it and you're good to go. The only time you have to do that is if you're using your own vehicle or you're leasing a vehicle on your own. Okay, and I'm not talking about going through Hertz or something like that. I'm talking about like going through like a dealership, doing an actual lease, like where you're leasing it by monthly, by for a certain amount of years or something like that. That's what I'm talking about as far as a lease is concerned, not the leasing programs that are done through the apps. That's totally different. Those vehicles are actually already pre-approved. You don't have to worry about any sort of safety inspection or anything, and they can be a bit costly. Okay. So yeah, you got all of those costs, all the costs that are involved, and so another one too, tires. Especially if you live in an area like this where that is constantly under construction. Those construction workers, they don't secure any of their stuff. And so next thing you know it, you got either a screw or a nail in your tire. It happens all the time. Don't bother with the warranties or anything, because because then I know the tire places, they'll try and get you into getting a warranty and so on and so forth. I have found that they're useless. Find out the ins and outs on them first if you want to go down that route. But for the most part, yeah, I don't mess with it. Okay. So I just go ahead and get the tire replaced, be done with it. I had to do it here recently. I've hit something that was, I should show it to you all one of these days. I mean, it's like about this big around, punctured my tire, got trapped in my wheel well and everything. I was trapped on the freeway for 2 hours trying to get a tow. So yeah, vehicle insurance, you have to keep up with that. Those costs also. All right. And you have to make sure that is all staying current on the apps as well. And most of this is state requirements. Okay, this isn't requirements that are from the companies themselves. These are regulations that the companies have to abide by the states. Okay. Another thing that you have to take into consideration as far as costs are concerned, business license. I don't know about other states, but state of Nevada, I know that they give a 6-month grace period. After that, you got to make sure you have your business license and have it uploaded annually to the app. Some of them, like with Clark County, they even require a local business license, especially with picking up at the airport. It's mostly for that. So that's something else you have to take into consideration. Another thing you have to watch out for also, the police. They love pulling us over. So you might have to take into account costs for speeding tickets or parking tickets or basically some sort of moving violations. You're going to have to set money aside for. Also, of course, having your insurance rates possibly going up because, of course, you're getting a lot of violations now. Okay, yeah, not simple, is it? You're finding out. Yeah, it's not just as simple as, and you can't just download the app or both the apps and start going up online either. There's the background stuff that you're going to have to take care of first before you're even approved to be able to go out. So don't think you can just download it today and start tomorrow, or even 2 days from now. It can take up to a week to finally get things rolling and so forth. And it's mostly the background check. There is a soft background check that they pull with your using your driver's license. Okay, so that's another thing too. If you're somebody who's always getting into trouble, guess what? You don't have a job. So you got to keep your record clean as well. Even your driver's license clean. Okay. Let's see here. What else? Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot to this, and as far as people are concerned, they're going to be trashing your car. They're going to be leaving trash behind. You got to keep your car clean, so you got to take into consideration those costs of the car washes. A lot of them, they offer like monthly plans and so forth with unlimited washes, so you can do those. Also, if you do something like that, make sure that they offer free vacuum service. Definitely take advantage of that because you're going to need it. Trust me. People who are only coming into town, especially if you live like in a tourist area, people who come into town and they're not like making multiple stops, like around the country or something like that. They're just coming in for a couple of days and turning right around, going back home, and they have these suitcases that are so large and so heavy that you wonder, do you have your kitchen sink in here as well? I mean, they have their whole entire house with them. Do you have the kitchen sink too? That's what it seems like a lot of times with these people. It's like, okay, yeah, definitely you get a lot of people who overpack. So, you're going to be having to be dealing with that. And also, of course, especially if you're someone like me, I do carry certain things with me all the time in my trunk. Just in case like break down or what have you. I have certain things with me. You're going to have to also, figure out ways to move all your stuff aside so that way they can fit their big, heavy suitcases in there and so forth. You're going to get people who are going to be complaining, oh, there's not enough room back here. Well, it's 3, I mean, what do you expect? Squish your butts together. That's what I tell people, or at least I mostly had problems with my last car because it was a bit small back there. I'll be the first to admit, but I would just tell people, squish your butts together. People, try and make light of things as much as you possibly can. Basically, on the one hand, it kind of helps to relieve pressure off of you, some stress off of you, give you a good way to be able to joke around and so forth. And it also helps make the situation light of the situation as well. And most of the time people will just laugh, So, but yeah, and also increase your opportunities for tips. And speaking of tips, don't think you're going to get tips all the time, because people on these platforms typically don't anymore. I hate to say it. Whether it's long distances, short distance, or whatever, they're taking these rides because they're cheap. They're cheaper than taking a taxi, and unfortunately, most of them don't really tip all that much anymore, even business people who are riding on company accounts. Yeah, I hate to say it. It used to be a lot better, but not since the pandemic, really. There's a lot of ins and outs with all of this, and the reason why I wanted to share it with you is because I want, unlike like with other careers and so forth, there might be books available where you can read, you can do some studying, get a little bit of a taste of what it is that you're going to be getting yourself into with some sort of a career choice. With this, there really isn't a whole lot that's out there that's available, and it's definitely not going to be a whole lot of people who are going to be telling you the ins and outs of what all is involved with all of this. And that's the reason why I wanted to start this channel, because I see a lot of new people who come into it. Fortunately, when I came into it, I had previous cab driving experience here. So it wasn't that big of a deal. Okay. I knew already what I was getting myself into. I already knew the ins and outs. So it was just a matter of getting used to the platform and where I'm supposed to pick people up and the laws and that are applied to us and so forth. That's the other thing too. You're going to have to know the laws, where it is that you can pick up, where it is you can drop off, and you're going to have to be dealing with people who don't understand that. Usually if I tell people, hey, look, I can't pick you up there because I can get a $200 or $300 fine, they'll usually accommodate. Okay, they're like, oh, I don't want that to happen. Some people don't. Plain flat out, and you have to, you even though it affects your rating, that's another in and out also is your ratings. Have to be careful of keeping track of those, not just your star ratings, but also your cancellation rates and how many rides you dismiss, okay, that you don't accept at all. That is also going to be counting against you. Okay, they do things set up, even though I've been advocating for people like me who have health issues, who have to cancel rides at the last minute. I have been advocating, trying to get these platforms on board with coming up with maybe some sort of a rating system or something, because there are times, all of a sudden my sugar just drops. I got to go take care of that. You don't want having somebody in there getting into one of your vehicles and who's with the drivers having a low sugar. No, not a good idea. So I have been trying to advocate for things like that. So yeah, this can be a very good situation for people with health issues, but it can also be a kind of a bad situation. It's, both sides. So yeah, like I was saying, I wanted to create something where for people who are just going to be starting, who are considering doing ride sharing work because of, circumstances that they may be in. Because I am in that situation. I have been in that situation. But fortunately, like I said, I already knew what I was getting myself into because I did have the previous cab driving experience. Okay. So, let me know your thoughts. What sort of questions that you may have? Any sort of concerns that you may have and so forth. I want to be open. I want this to be an open platform where people can ask questions or express comments and so forth. Excuse me. I know, got the burpees here a little bit. Sorry about that. But yeah, I want you to ask questions and so forth, and I'll be more than happy to answer any of them that you have. Okay. I am going to be doing more of these videos and so forth. The next video I actually want to do is about how to get rolling and so forth. Now that you know the ins and outs, you have something to think about to help guide you with making a decision if this is a really good option for you or not. Okay. Especially with the people aspect and everything. So yeah. I definitely recommend throw some questions out and everything. But yeah, the next video I want to do is helping you get rolling with getting your approvals and so forth, what it is that you need to do in order to get approval to get rolling. Okay? All right. Also, I want to do another video talking about some of the financials, also things that you should be saving, and it's basically starting a spreadsheet and keeping logs on and so forth too. So that's going to be very, very important as your bookkeeping, your accounting, because you're going to need that at the end of the year because you're not paying anything in. Okay. So yeah, you're going to get socked with a pretty big a couple of pretty big 1099s at the end of the year, and you're going to have to be able to write all that off. Okay, so stay tuned for those videos. I love you all, and I will definitely talk to you all tomorrow with a different topic about one of the other 6 categories that's on this blog. All right, love you all. Mwah.